Seen the behind the scenes, people. Oh my God, here we go. Nosferatu the Vampire, 1979.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Oh, it's getting hot out there. Oh, I mean, what's going on? Hey, everybody, welcome to the Late Late Horror Show with me and Ginger. Hello, Ginger.
Hello. Hi,
How are you
McDougal.
doing?
Hi, Satemkia. Hi, Connie. Tracy. Harry.
Well, giving kisses to everybody. Here we go. Yeah, we got Connie, Tracy, McDougal, Satemkia. I did see that comment. A ripoff of Bram Stoker? Isn't every Dracula film that's ever really been kind of made a ripoff of Bram Stoker? But hello, Satemkia. You did say, too, though, that you like this movie. But anyways, Connie, what's going on? No use for names. Doesn't need any name. WWM. But me and Ginger are going to get ready to argue. So get ready to...
We're not going to argue.
I love that name. Listen, Ginger, I'm trying to bring up controversy and drama. Okay, so it'll bring in the views. Anyways, I've got some things to talk to you about. But anyways,
to me, is this going to be like an airing of grievances? Hey, WWM. Hey, Derby. Derby girl. Hi, Chris.
Oh, is Derby girl here? Hello, Derby girl. You betcha. She's here. You got your cheese curds with you? CM is here. Chris W is here. Everybody seems to be here except my brain. Anyways, Vicky Array, what's up, everyone? Hope all
Hi,
is
Vicky.
well. Satemkia says not there were also ripoffs of early vampire stories. Carmela by damn, I will remember this name in a moment. Another average. Listen, Satemkia.
Round one. Round one.
Well, listen. They all stem from vampire mythos, and the biggest one is Bram Stoker's Dracula. So again, what more can be said except you get story after story.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it,
yo. Yes, I am Dino, and that is Ginger. If you're the first time here, that would be weird if it's your first time. But no, some people watch for the first time. Nathan, see, look at Nathan Cannon. He says,
"Hi, Nathan."
Strigoi. Prophet Wing is there. Okay, so Nosferatu the Vampire, 1979. This is a Werner Herzog film. It says Nosferatu, but it's really off of the storyline of Bram Stoker, right, Ginger?
Dracula.
Yes, we've got the character as Count Dracula, Lucy Harker, Jonathan Harker, Renfield, who is played by Roland Topar. In this film, I love his wackiness and
his laugh. That laugh.
That laugh is so weird, but I love it. I love it. You don't, huh? You didn't like the character?
It's creepy.
Well, creepy's good. It's a horror film.
But that's why Werner Herzog put him in the film, because he had heard him laugh, and he was like, "I need that laugh in this film."
Good point, and good for him. Yeah, Haitian military brought the mythos of vampire to the New England area. Revolutionary War times, says Derby girl. Very interesting. Okay, so yeah, let's talk. I'm trying to keep up with this. Satemkia Joseph Sheridan LeFanu was writing vampire and ghost stories prior to Bram Stoker, and even before that, there was over 100 episodes of Varney the Vampire. Exactly, but this movie...
Yeah, but obviously the Bram Stoker's version of it really, really hit with people, and they wanted to work from that. I mean, obviously it's good. It's the best one.
Yeah, it took off, just like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. There were other stories of reanimated corpse back in the day prior to Mary Shelley's story. But yeah.
Hi, Janine.
Hey, Janine, what's going on?
Hi,
Good
Paul.
to see you. Hey, Paul B. Let's just say hi to everybody. The heck with the movie, the
So,
Bram Stoker ripoff.
go ahead. You were saying when I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, just that I really enjoyed the Renfield character. But what I really like about the movie overall here, and then we'll get into the little tidbits and all that stuff, was it was kind of a slow-paced movie, but I like that sometimes. This is more of a darker gothic take. Werner Herzog himself, was really a lover of German romantic art and stories, and it shows in the cinematography, the scenes, the storyline, and the way the characters interact. So that's kind of my thing. I love the dark gothic tale that they're trying, and the romanticizing of the vampire and the whole story. That's what I love about it. So, anyways, and there is a really interesting, and I'll let you tell me your thoughts right off the bat. What did you think, Ginger? Oh no! Thumbs down? Not all the way down. Maybe halfway sideways? All the way down? Okay, see, now she's going to cause controversy. Okay, all the way down.
No, I mean,
So
it's one of those movies that it's like a
Too
Catcher
boring
in the
for you?
Rye or what?
Too boring for you?
It was very slow. It was so slow. It was like the whole time I was like, can something please just happen? Anything. Can something happen? How much do you never did answer me. How much do you really love this movie? How much do you really love it?
I kind of told you that I like this better than the what is it, 1992
The Bram
version
Stokers.
Bram Stokers with Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, and all the big names in there. I kind of like this just a little bit better, but I also like Bram Stoker. I like most of the versions in the movies that use that storyline and the premise, but I also love Nosferatu. Probably the Silent is probably one of my favorites.
And that's why you love this one so much. That's why people love this one so much, because it's so loyal to that original Silent one. I can't think of any other reason.
Even though the storyline kind of follows along Bram Stoker's story, this Klaus Kinski, looking like Nosferatu, just his appearance in this film is just so darn good that, and the way he does things and moves, like when there's a scene where he just like turns around and looks up with the
that's
light
all he
hitting
does
him.
the whole movie. He's like,
but that's what makes it so
how much of that
awesome.
how much of that can you take, really? How much of that am I expected to take?
Throughout the movie, plenty. I mean, if that's part of his character and what it is, Derby Girl Says Silent is the best. Yes, definitely. And there are some things that kind of point to why that is. Like I got something right here. It says, let me read this real quick. The film implies on several occasions that Dracula's castle exists in type of shadow dream world, and it is in this reality which Harker finds himself at the beginning of the film, okay, where he's kind of like in a dream state. This is implied by statement from the gypsies that Dracula's castle is in fact merely a crumbling ruin, with these ruins seen whilst the sun is setting. I'm sure you remember that. Although Harker finds himself
the whole movie, the sun was setting. The whole movie was just gray, gray, gray.
But he saw the castle as intact, but Harker himself even notes in the movie that it doesn't seem real and is haunting. So there's almost this like fantasy
I know what you mean.
A whole story,
the atmosphere is. I think that Herzog, it seems like he concentrated more on that atmosphere than anything else in the movie. He certainly didn't concentrate a lot on dialogue or like.
Listen, you don't need dialogue. And hello, Vincent White. He says psychological. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody does agree that 1922 Nosferatu is the best, but And Jibrail Graham, what's up? Well, again, you don't need a lot of dialogue as long as the atmosphere makes you feel a certain way throughout the movie, and that's exactly what it does for me. So I
And
don't
that's
know.
all. It's like that's all there is to this movie. Is it's gothic. It's like I said, they
Yes.
had the Carpathian Mountains that are just like gray slate. Just everything everywhere. The sky is gray. All the buildings are gray. It's raining all the
Yeah.
time. It's foggy. It's like, all right.
Well, and Derby Girl says it's Werner Herzog. Yes, everything is colorless, drab. Atmosphere is key. That's what he was
Yes.
kind of trying to go for. I think even in the
Yes.
opening scene where you get this prolonged musical sequence, which was done by Popol Vuh, which
Yeah.
is a very interesting. It relies on death, okay, and it's all about death, especially in that opening scene, which later
Yeah.
on. That music that you see at the opening scene where it's a bunch of people that have died, it was real
Yes.
footage.
Yes. They died of
Cholera
cholera in
Cholera.
Mexico.
Yes, and he filmed this
Yes.
just to portray the death, because he was trying to get that through this entire film, romanticizing death, which sounds weird, but that's exactly what he was trying to do. And later on in the film, when Harker starts walking up to the castle, they start playing that music again from Popol Vuh, that very eerie sounding music, showcasing that he's walking to his death, which no spoilers right
His
away,
doom,
but
to his doom, not necessarily his death, but to his doom. He's doomed as soon as he
well,
goes into that castle.
yeah, which the locals, Gypsy, and everybody else said that it really wasn't a real place. It was just ruins. But was that just what he kind of portrayed to all the villagers and the people around him who were around the castle? I think.
Well, I mean, it can't be. Nosferatu can't exist in light, so it has to be. The atmosphere has to be gray and gloomy because he can't exist in the light, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No.
So it has
Exactly.
to be that way.
Wraith Ranger from Beyond. I do like the 1970s Nosferatu. Animator Chuck Jones once said, "If you can convey the story without the sound, then it is done well." Yes,
Correct.
and I think that comes out with Werner Herzog and his love of art, and
he and Klaus Kinski were very good friends. They had known each other like their entire lives.
yeah.
And they had this horrible, like, toxic relationship, but they worked so well together in that. They had the same vision for what they wanted the movie to be, and they just worked so well with that.
Well, Klaus Kinski kind of wanted to be a little bit more active and a little bit more animated, and Werner Herzog would always work him up to a big frenzy, like almost like a tantrum. First of all, he would be in the chair for 4 hours for the makeup and the
Get the
ears.
makeup done, yeah.
Yeah, and then he would kind of work him up so that he was just exhausted by the time they would shoot, and he would be slower and more quiet, and portray exactly what Werner
more
Herzog.
beaten down, defeated.
Yes, he is. Christopher Prest. I thought Louis Jordan. Oh, that slipped by really quick. What the heck? Well, welcome to the chat. Kinski is more or less following the acting styles of Max Schreck, who played Nosferatu in the 1929 Silent. Well, I think he's romanticizing the silent Nosferatu film too.
Absolutely.
Oh,
He's the only one, I think. Well, I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, but it seems like he's the only one who actually is trying to look like that Dracula from the silent one, because I don't see any other really Dracula movies where they make him look like that, or are there?
Except for the William Dafoe Shadow of the Vampire. William Dafoe plays a Nosferatu type vampire, and well, he plays Nosferatu. Shadow of the Vampire is about the making of Nosferatu. It's a wonderful film. I put it way up on my list.
And
Let's
you know,
see.
Klaus Kinski was in another vampire, and I think he played Renfield. A few years before this came out, Klaus Kinski was in another vampire movie, but he played Renfield.
Okay, I wish I knew what the name of that film was, but I'll have to look it up. Did not know that.
I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Well, I can look it up very easily. Night Fright
Hi,
Talk
Night
Show.
Fright Talk Show.
Yeah, and Derby Girl says Hitchcock's films have distinct atmosphere feel, but there is a moving storyline, excitement, deep feelings, sound. Sounds like Ginger could have seen some still photos of this film and get the same experience. Yeah, it sounds like that to me too, Derby Girl.
Harker, when I first saw Harker, he looks like a cross between Gerard Depardieu and Javier Bardem.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, I do see that. I totally see that 100%. Satemkia
And
again.
this was as spot on as this movie was. I think this movie, no matter what anybody thinks about it, I think that it's exactly what Herzog wanted to do. I really think that. I read that he was really happy with this movie. It was exactly what he. You know, sometimes you direct a movie and afterwards you're like, you know, that was really garbage. I really wish I could do it again or something. But he was very happy with it. So. Yes.
He comes out and says, I mean, he is happy with his film and the way it turned out, exactly the way he was envisioning it. But he does say that, you know, the original Nosferatu, the silent film, definitely is his favorite German expressionist film. So, yes. And Satemkia does say, as per German expressionism in the 1920s, it's all about atmosphere and dreams, almost surrealistic. But they were creating the backgrounds, emphasizing nature and things like this. So, yep. And I think to a point, Werner Herzog was trying to do that too, through art more than the film itself, if that makes any sense.
It moves so slow. I think, you know, maybe it's because I'm Gen X, I'm jaded. Everything has to be right in your face or something. But to me, it was just like,
wait a second.
Something needs to happen.
I'm Gen X too, but I get it. Esoteric Lydian chromanticism, heart worship. Good to have you in the chat. That's quite the name and quite long. Says Jack the Ripper. Yes.
I read that Werner Herzog worked with Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies.
Uh-huh.
And he said that Herzog said that Pattinson is a wonderful actor and he respects the Twilight movies of the concept of like a teenage vampire. So he thought Werner Herzog worked with Robert Pattinson, said Pattinson was a great actor and that he really admired the Twilight movies. How about that?
Well, how about that? I think Werner Herzog was just trying to be nice to the younger generation and the vampire movie.
He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say anything at all.
If he was in a conversation,
you're so cynical. You're so cynical.
Listen, if he was in a conversation with Robert Pattinson and he would say something nice. He's that type of person.
He didn't have to say that to the press. He could say whatever he wanted to say to Pattinson and no one would have to know. But he said this at an interview. Stop being so cynical.
Listen, Robert Pattinson is a fantastic actor. I do agree with that 100%. Although, his take on Batman was not up to par. I did not agree with him being casted as that. But everybody's going, Pattinson doesn't emote a lot either. Yeah, in the Batman movie, he doesn't. Connie Cleary says Robert Pattinson sucks as an actor. Good words there, Connie.
Connie, you have to stop holding back and let people know what's really on your mind, Connie. Let it go.
Yes. Night Fright Talk Show. Near Dark was a good vampire. Near Dark was a great vampire movie. And that's another movie where it gets a little dark and there's a little bit more of that gothic atmosphere to it also, but a lot more dialogue and stuff. A lot of stars. Very good movie. Chris W says, I think
the thing that really got me about this movie was like when Harker
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
I,
that could be true, Chris. That could be true. But
yeah,
I thought
Chris
it was
W.
nice of him to say, because he didn't have to say anything at all. He didn't have to say anything.
Dead Boy, New
I think
York
that
City. Good to see you. Hey, I see somebody coming in chat. I gotta say hello. Go ahead.
The how I've seen a lot of vampire movies, but this is the first time that I saw where the teeth were like the two little teeth right in the front, right here, instead of being fangs like on the side. He had these two, and somehow that's more hideous.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely took a little different kind of approach to the way the fangs appear. I mean,
But I mean,
they
his
don't necessarily.
appearance. Harker comes to this castle.
Mhm.
Everybody's telling him, "Don't go. You don't go," and he goes. So there's this feeling of foreboding anyway. And then he comes into this castle, and there's this super creepy guy with this pasty white skin and these weird little fang teeth, and he's like all hideous. And like Harker's just like, "Yes, I'd love something to eat. Thank you." Like it's so
And he starts,
like why.
and he starts to eat too, and everything, like the food and all
Yeah.
that. And I would be so like leery, like I'm not touching this stuff. I mean, what's going to happen to me here? But I mean, I think the whole point of that too was Harker coming and not being real shocked at his appearance is what Werner Herzog was trying to do, was make this kind of a fantasy, kind of the surrealism of everything. And Harker didn't really see him as a monster, and
when he's going through this, while he's living through this, is he saying to himself, "This is a dream. This has to be a dream," or is that afterwards that he's like, "That must have been a dream"? While he's living this, is he thinking, "This has to be a dream. This can't be real"?
I think the character of Klaus Kinski, the Count Dracula character, I think he somewhat entranced everybody into kind of this dreamlike state, to where they did not interpret things as gruesome as they technically were.
And they're probably questioning their own sanity. Like, am I crazy? Or because his wife says at the end, doesn't his wife or says something about, "Are we so crazy?" Or when he comes back into town, I think she says, "Are we all so crazy that," I forget what she says, but what you're saying, that I think about when she said that, like maybe we're just all crazy.
Right. Because I mean, heck, he's able to get himself, and this is the power of the vampire, going from town to town. I mean, what you get from his character, Count Dracula, in this movie is that he wants his life back. He does not like being dead. He does not like being alone.
And that's the anguish that you see in his eyes.
Yes, the poor guy. There's something sympathetic about his character.
Because a lot of times vampires seem like they're happy. They're like, "I have forever. Like, I don't have to die." Most of the time they feel triumphant. Like, "Hey, but with him, it was almost like, this sucks, man."
Oh yeah. Well, again, he was portraying the vampire as a monster. I mean, just look at him. Look at his appearance and how he, all of that good, terrible stuff. Then look at the Twilight series, where you can be a vampire and you can be fully. Then you go to
beautiful,
like,
even the one you were talking about, Bram Stoker's.
Yes.
The one you were talking about, the 92. Are you talking about the Coppola one?
Yes. Francis Ford Coppola.
Everyone in that movie was so. I mean, this one here, like he's hideous.
Oh yeah. Well, and Lucy, Harker. I mean, Jonathan. He is what he is. It's the 70s, but boy, again, you kind of get a Hammer feel for this chick, Lucy. She was beautiful, but she almost overacted to the point of you know, he didn't want her to do dialogue. He wanted her to do the expressions, you know, the face.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie where when he comes to town, he sneaks into her room and you only get the cast of his shadow on the wall. You remember the scene?
Like in the original, in the silent movie.
Right. And, you know, he's just sneaking up to her and she's just got this expression on her face that is like something right out of the silent era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
she's so pale. Her skin white and she's got that dark hair and those beautiful gray blue eyes. I mean, she looks like a dream. She looks like ethereal, like she's not really there.
Exactly. Which lends again to what he was trying to come up with during the shooting and the whole film itself. The cinematography and everything just lends to what he was trying to do. You know what I mean? And I think who he got, Lucy, I forget the actress's name, but she did a great job with portraying it that way. Jonathan Harker, a little bit different. I don't know if I was in love with his character as much as the others. The Van Helsing character, in this movie, he was a skeptic. Yeah. And didn't even, he was useless. He was a useless character, which was fine by me because I was more worried about the storyline that was going around the Count Dracula himself and Lucy and Jonathan. Those are the three main characters that really had everything going on. Am I missing anything in the chat here? Jaden says
yeah, we missed a lot of stuff. We've been missing a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. Let me go real quick and see if I Queen of the Damned. Okay, so Chris W mentions Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles. Those stories. Those are my favorite novels of all time. The Vampire Chronicles and the Vampire Lestat. He portrays power, and he may be pale, but he can walk amongst the living. And most humans saw him as a beautiful person. So that is the separate way of looking at some vampires in the line of Twilight, but a little bit different. If you guys haven't read those books, definitely read those books. The movies, which was portrayed by Tom Cruise, Lestat, Interview with the Vampire. I didn't care a whole lot for that movie, even though they did a good job, just because I saw all the characters a little bit different than they portrayed it in the film.
Well, I got to tell you, Dino, that Coppola's version, all the different reviews that I looked at while I was researching this and everything, a lot of people say that Coppola version is like the one that's truest. If you factor different things, the character development and the atmosphere and the real meaning of what Bram Stoker was trying to convey, that Coppola version is the one that people say is the one that's close to Bram Stoker's.
The book. Oh, yeah. Closest to the book. And I agree 100%. I mean, everybody takes bits and pieces out of it and kind of goes along the storyline. But Francis Ford Coppola, of course, the great director that he is, kind of really went deep into the book and followed it truly. I mean, when you got the cast that he had, you know, you can kind of do that with some of these other directors and up and comers or whoever, artists, you know, people like that, like Werner Herzog. He wanted to put his own spin on things. So that's exactly what he did.
He did a fantastic job. It's just like, I don't need to see that movie again. I'm good.
Okay. No, I get it. You don't like it. So sounds pretty sweet. Yuck, Tom Cruise. I hear you. I'm a big Buffy fan. Vampire the Slayer says Night Fright Talk Show. Yes, I am too. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Gary Old's closer to the book. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in so many Dracula movies, it's like when you approach the film itself, it is nice to see them go in a different direction and transform the characters, you know, in their own vision. You know what I mean? So because we can't see the same
movie. You have to do that.
Yeah, you can't see the same movie over and over and over again. Derby Girl says
exactly. You should do that. put your own spin on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
Derby
I
Girl
said,
says,
he said he's very proud of that movie. Although I found out that's the only horror movie that Herzog did. He never did. That's the only horror movie he ever did.
yep. He
He's very good.
yeah, no. I again I loved exactly what he did with it.
They had to wrangle together 10,000 rats for that movie. 10,000 rats.
And again, that's him coming to the village and showing the pestilence and the plague and what he brings with him. He brings death with him wherever he goes. And the scenes of the streets, the tables, and food all over the place, like it just everything went to crap. You know what I mean? And it was it was really good. And what did you think about Jonathan Harker when he finally got back to town and what they did
and
to
he didn't
him?
recognize his wife?
Well, no, he was in shock. I mean, he was under the vampire's spell, Count Dracula's spell, you know. But what they did to him, because some kind of started to, you know, they understood somewhat what was going on, the vampire, and they put, what was it, the dirt or what was it that they put around him in the corner in the chair?
Chalk. Chalk.
Okay.
Chalk.
Yes. Which
the
made
same
him
thing when you're casting a spell. That chalk is for protection.
Right, Derby Girl, and you.
Yes, I was going to say Derby Girl would know.
I don't know if she wants me to say it, but anyways, so that kept him in that corner, so he couldn't leave. So even when he started getting out of the trance, okay, that he was in, and technically, I mean, no big spoiler, but technically transforming himself into a vampire. He's basically becoming a vampire. And this doesn't happen in the other films. In this film, everybody has a dire end to everything. Everything has a dire ending. Right?
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot. I'm just listening with this. Proceed.
Just that in this version, there's no good outcome, you know. Lucy, between Lucy, Jonathan, the whole town, even Count Dracula himself, you kind of get a different, you know, ending to that also. But we'll talk about the ending when we get to it. Well, let me go to some of the chat. Unless you got, go ahead. Go ahead, Ginger.
What was that ending? Him riding off on a horse. What's that?
Okay, well, you said it now, so let's talk about it. Well, in this movie, you know, Count Dracula gets it, okay, but Jonathan Harker ends up being a vampire, and he gets the maid to swipe away the chalk, and that leaves him loose, and he's a full-blown vampire. So what is he going to do? He's going to get on a horse.
So he's just going off to the next town and go to the next town and
wherever, once you find a place to call home. I mean, I think.
And you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Do you know what that reminds me of?
No.
30 Days of Night.
Oh.
30 Days of Night, where they just go from town to town.
Yes.
They burn down the town and then they move on and nobody ever knows what happened.
Yes. It's a fantastic vampire film. I love that movie. That's a good movie.
That movie. It is.
Yes. But that's a wild, ferocious vampire flick. And, you know, where you get a pack and they're they're killing and killing and killing. I get it. I love that film too. Let me say I'm way back behind in the chat. So Temkia says, Ginger, that sounds like me when I saw my first Japanese film, Women of the Dunes. It was very slow and I couldn't stand it. But as I watch more and more international films, with my patience improved. Well, you know what? That's it. With a lot of the foreign films, you're going to get that. You're going to get a lot more atmosphere, a lot more cinematography in a lot of the foreign films. They lend to that a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's just because it's foreign and I think they're just a lot more artistic in the way they film movies, as we're here in the U.S.
You know what? I see this as an artsy movie, and I'm just not a fan of arty movies. It's very arty. I don't like that kind of movie. It's just me.
Yeah, no, and we all have our own.
Sorry.
Yes, likes and no, that's all right. Peter Wernicke, hey there, Ginger and Dino, what's going on? Paul B says
Hey,
the
Peter.
Salem's Lot Vampire. Oh, another one. The Salem's Lot Vampire definitely has that same look to him too. Definitely inspired by the black and white movie, and it's awesome in my humble opinion. Heck yeah, I love Salem's Lot. Have you seen the made-for-TV series Salem's Lot, Ginger? Nope.
Is it David Soul?
Oh boy. Yes.
David Soul from Starsky and Hutch, or no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. It is from Starsky and Hutch.
I remember hearing about the show, but I would not have been allowed to watch something like that.
Oh, okay. A little too scary. I get it. Paul B, the Salem's Lot Vampire. Okay, I just read that. Duh. Donovan Belair, what's going on? Nice to see you in the chat. Queen of the Dam, you guys are talking about Aaliyah. She was the one that played in there. Queen of the Dam was a terrible movie. The characters. Did I miss something?
That movie was about Aaliyah. That's what that was about.
Yeah. Yes, and that was
she was
nothing
hot.
about. She was very beautiful, and they were trying to catch a certain audience. I don't know what they were doing there, because her character of the queen of all vampires, if you read the book, was nothing like that character should be. But anyways,
it's a shame, because that generation, now the generation, like the millennials, I guess, who be like my daughter's generation, that's what they think of vampire movies. They think about Leah all sexy and slinky, and it's like, no, this movie was nothing like.
Well, me having kids too, I'm glad I introduced them to a lot of old horror, because they tend to like those better.
Sure.
And like those more. Whereas the ones that only see the new movies and get the impression of what a vampire is through 2020s or whatever, it's like that is nothing compared to it's not what they originally intended for vampires,
right? The vision,
even the werewolf to be. Yes.
When my daughter was a kid, every time one of the Twilight movies came out, I would order it for her like ahead of time. I would have it pre-ordered, and it would come to the house the day that it was released. My daughter read all the Twilight movies, all the Twilight books, and she said the movies weren't that great, but the books. But that's their generation. That's their generation.
I think I was slapped in the hand by Chris W. She says, Ginger is way too young to be called ma'am. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to call
I'm older than Dino. I'm older than Dino, and not by a year or two either.
Oh, boy. Fletch Kielman, welcome. Compared Dawn of the Dead to Zombie 2. Romero's plot. Oh, geez, I just missed it. I'll have to get to it. Let me read some of these other ones. Imagine if Lovecraft lived for the time of man, actually traveling to the moon. All the stories he would have made. Yes, of course, 100%. Lovecraft could have. Oh my God, can you imagine if he was involved with the filming of a lot of the classics? I mean, that would have been great in the time of man. Love that.
I think Lovecraft was after me. Like I didn't hear about Lovecraft till I was an adult. See, like I said, I'm a few years older than you. Some of this stuff kind of like skipped I was beginning my terrible marriage when those things were coming out, you know, and I wasn't really.
Oh,
You're a little
geez.
younger than me. These things
Yeah.
are a little past like when I was into that stuff.
Well, I get you. I get you. Chris W says, I was invited by coworkers to see a Twilight movie in the theater. My soul was tortured the entire time. Unbearable. Thank you, Chris W. I appreciate that. Vincent White says, I love this movie, Emily. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. We stayed up late when we weren't supposed to. Yeah, this will definitely do that to you. If you're a kid and you watch this movie, I think this would give you the creeps, right, Ginger?
Didn't you say that your mom or someone used to take you to see scary movies when you were little, or you saw a
Yeah,
lot of
I
like
saw
really,
them all.
really inappropriately scary movies?
Yep. All the blood, guts, and
And
all
that's what
that. And I
happened to
didn't.
you. That explains it, everybody.
That's why I am who I am today. No. And I am glad that the video is looking so much better. Oh my gosh. I've been hating that it's been buffering and all this other stuff, and it looks so clear for you guys. Anyways, not that
I
you
just
care.
look white. The wall behind me is white.
You,
My face, everything's
you,
white. Everything's just a sheet of white.
you
No
look
color.
fine.
I put
No
makeup on and
color.
everything. You don't see any color. I'm just white.
I see red fingernails, red
Because
breasts, red
because of
glasses,
Dino,
red
because
lipstick,
Dino and his lighting requirements.
red hair. Oh, so do you want to turn them all off so we can barely see you? You can do that if you want.
Be on camera at all. Really.
No, Ginger. No, we need you on camera. Come on.
I know these people
Let's
don't
see.
want to look at me. They're not here to look at me. They're here to look at you. I
Shit.
don't have to be on
Wait, what?
camera at all.
They're not here to look at me. What are you talking about?
I bet they are.
The best horror movies I just did. I think it just hit 800. Let's see if we can reach 1,000. Anyways, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button, like our video, the thumbs. Check out the links and everything to join the channel. Description. Overnight tonight, I noticed some people complaining in the chat. I always look, even if
Thank you.
Ginger, you have lovely red hair. Yes, she does, and she's plaid all in red and everything. She's Miss Ginger. But I saw some people talking. It's been a while since some horror and sci-fi. So I did a horror and sci-fi old time radio collection tonight compilation. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. There's some X-1 and some scary horror stories. I'm playing The Uninvited, which is one of my favorites. Screen Playhouse Theater. The Uninvited. So be sure to check that out. Never listened to that before. It's just like the movie. It's got the same atmosphere and feel to it. It's a fantastic old time radio show. So check that out. But hopefully you guys enjoy that tonight. So
Thank you. Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm missing everything. Fletch Keelman, camera lighting that almost makes Zombie appear to be an art house film, along with DeRossi's makeup skills, blowing Savini's skills out of the water for most parts as Fletch. Yeah, you're getting into a totally different genre of movie making, Fletch, when it comes to those Italian horrors. And I love giallo films. I love Zombie. So that's just totally 100%.
But I need to still watch that movie that you told me about. You told me I should watch Red something. You told me that I should watch.
Red?
I have nail polish colors written down in my notes for my next nail polish.
Oh my God.
What movie? You told me I asked you for a giallo movie that I should watch.
Oh, Deep Red. Definitely watch Deep Red. Yeah, by Dario Argento. My favorite up to this point of any giallo film. So I love Deep Red. It's so fantastic. Definitely give that a watch. What's the spoof one that has a bunch of vampires living in a flat together? Oh yeah, that's what is that called? Shoot, now it's going to be on the tip of my tongue. Somebody probably already answered it anyways. I think the idea of Van Helsing being a non-believer is a nice concept. It's interesting. Van Helsing's kind of a powerful character, and they kind of threw him to the side. For this film, that's fine. But for some of the other films, you definitely need it. Ginger is doing
The only
amazing.
Van
since
Helsing,
WWM.
the only
Yes.
Van Helsing movie I've seen is the one with Kate Beckinsale and the Australian guy, Hugh Jackman. That's the only Van Helsing I've seen.
Yeah, oh, geez. Yeah, you need to see some old school horror. Christopher Prest says Suspiria. Of course, Suspiria is probably.
We talked about Suspiria.
Yeah, and that's probably my second favorite giallo film. Well, yeah, it's considered a giallo film, Dario Argento. But Suspiria, the new one was fantastic too. If you haven't seen it, goes a little deeper into the lore of the 3 movies that were made prior to. But Suspiria, yes, a fantastic film. Dario Argento, he has like a 10-year period there where he just made fantastic movies. Well, a little bit longer than that. Fantastic giallo films, and they were all great. The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Opera. You go on and on. It's just they're all fantastic. Boy, I'm really way behind. Holy Moses. Chris W. Lestat learned to exploit humans in high society to feed himself. Yes, they did. Just making sure I get everybody. Cirque de Freak with John C. Reilly was good. Yeah, no, I didn't see that one. John C. Reilly kind of turned me off just seeing him. Not that I don't like John C. Reilly as an actor, but I don't know. That one I never watched. Dead Boy NYC. Jaden Hamilton says Lovecraft writing stories about astronauts on the moon were okay. Yeah, you guys we're way back there. So anything else stand out to you in the film, or was it blah, just your basic?
I'm going over my notes now to make sure I don't miss anything.
Okay,
because you're always trying to rush me at the end. Typical man.
What? I'm trying to wait. What was that? Okay, now I hear what you're saying. Okay, geez. Oh, you went there. Anyways, how do you forget Brad Pitt in Interview with the Vampire?
The part that I liked in the movie?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah,
the part that I did like in the movie?
Yes. Go. Why is there such a delay in the audio? This is driving me nuts. Because I just need to bring up real quick, Ginger. Let me finish it here. Spacky says, how'd he forget Brad Pitt in Interview with the Vampire? I didn't forget Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was forgettable. Not really. In the movie, the character Armand, I have such a different idea on who Armand is and what he looks like and his relationship to Lestat and everything, because I read the books. So that's the one downside to reading novels before you see the movie, is if you get something stuck in your head.
The movie's never as good.
No. And even the act, again, you can go to everybody and say, Tom Cruise did a great Lestat. Not even close in my eyes to what I picture him to be, but Tom Cruise did fine. Brad Pitt is Armand. He did a fantastic job, and he was kind of a strong character in the movie. But is that what I saw Armand as? No, not really, not even close. But I didn't forget him. I just didn't mention him because, I just didn't care a whole lot for it. But go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything. I had a few.
Yeah. So go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You have something to say. I'll stop talking.
Oh, I forget what I was talking about now.
You were looking at your notes.
I was looking at my notes.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm into, I love history, and I love like the little details, and I'm impressed with sort of like the historical details in the movie. The costumes were accurate. The way they made I told you the way they made the town look with the canal and everything. It was, of course, they still look like that today, so it wasn't that difficult. But being in Delft on that canal when they're filming that movie and that tall ship come down the canal, like that would have been like, oh my God, like, because that's not the kind of boat that usually comes through there, but it's wide enough. That's what it was put there for hundreds of years ago. But now it's for pleasure crafts, you know, it's not for tall ships. But to live there at that time in the 70s, and they tell everybody, look, you can't use the canal in these 2 days because there's going to be a movie filming. And you're sitting in your town canal in Delft, and you see this tall sail ship come down the. I mean, that must have been incredible. And it was the ship itself was so historically accurate. And everybody on the ship was dead.
They were all dead. Yes. And I liked how when the night came, he kind of took the coffin himself and took it to the
he's run square with this coffin running through the square.
Yes. To his property, kind of like Young Frankenstein when they were getting the body and going down the cobblestone streets and the arm comes out.
Yeah.
But no, and that was very atmospheric when he was carrying that in the light and the shadows, and it's just everything was just so beautifully put on.
And of course, he has to be wearing a cape. He has to be wearing a cape so that it flows out, because that's part of the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could wear a cape. I can if I wanted to. I would love to wear a cape. Why don't more people wear capes?
At you. And then people.
But why don't more people wear capes? People should wear more capes.
Because they're goofy looking. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be.
It was a Seinfeld reference. George Costanza's father was in the street, and he was talking to some man, and he was waving his hand around like this, and he had a cape on. So Jerry Seinfeld would talk to George a little later on in the episode and go, yeah, and your father, he was wearing a cape. So the whole episode, George was kind of trying to figure out, why the hell is my father wearing a cape in the city? So, you know, it was very funny. It was very
funny. Why was he? Why was he?
Well, not his father. His lawyer was wearing a cape. So George Costanza's father's lawyer was wearing a cape. So, just because he liked to wear capes. Why?
No.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Let's see. Shadow the Vampire is my favorite modern film, says Donner. Pass Whiskey. What is going on, Donner? Pass Whiskey. It's been a while, buddy. Daryl Hagler is here. Good to see you. Justin Cordero. What is going on? Seeing a lot of new names. It's definitely good to see.
Hi, Justin. Oh, Justin said he wasn't going to come in. Yes. Justin's a South Philly boy.
Okay, South Philly. I'm Frank Costanza's lawyer. LOL, he says. So he knows the episode.
Dino. Oh.
Yes.
Dino.
Yeah.
Something to tell you about Justin.
Okay.
He recently had a death in his extended family, and it was an older gentleman. Said that toward the end of his life, Justin told him about your old time radio. And the guy, you know, I'm sure it was familiar to him. And Justin said he listened to that. He listened to you the day he passed on. And I just wanted you to know that. I think that's beautiful. Like, he had something comforting and familiar and nostalgic to go leave this world with. And because of Justin told him about your channel. Isn't that nice?
Yes, that is awesome.
I think that's nice.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Justin. You know what? People don't think that it's a bigger deal to people than people think. Does that make any sense? Like,
it makes perfect sense. I wonder if you know how big of a deal it is. I wanted to make sure you understand how big of a deal it is to other people.
Yes, I do to a part. I probably don't even know a portion of who gets comfort from listening to the shows overnight, because when it all first started, I said this a long time ago, but I mean, I was getting, you know, messages from like hospice nurses who said, you know, I brung, you know, I turned this on when the whole floor was just grumpy and just not working. You know, I mean, working out the way she wanted it to be. She would play these
that's
every
so
night.
Beautiful.
and they would just calm down, and it would just take them to
Yes.
a place. And imagination of the mind, just listening to old time radio, especially because it takes you to a different time. Podcasts, radio
Yes.
dramas, that the present day, it's just a totally different feel. Not that there's anything
And what
wrong
a
with
time,
podcasts. Yes.
what a time to have been alive. I mean, you're taking them back to a wonderful their lives. I mean, America was prosperous and doing really well. And like they came home and they started making all these babies, and then there was a baby boom, and everybody was so happy, and the country was, it was a beautiful time. And so you're taking them back to that, and that's got to be a great memory.
Oh yeah. No, I understand what it means to a lot of people, which is why I have done this every day, even when I'm sick, for the people who need it overnight. I know that there's somebody out there who's so down and out and feeling so low, and they need something like this, even if it's to chat.
Yes.
Why I always say it's a Late Horror Show family, and people come and go, but to know that there's
They
always
come back. They
some
come back.
people, I hope so, but that there are
They do.
some people in the chat for them to, half of it is them watching people chat and having some socialization on top of listening to something spectacular from a different time and era. But anyways, yeah, no, thank you, Justin, for doing that, and much love to the person who passed on. Definitely. Geez, I got notifications popping up here. I'm going to have to fix something on this. M says, Willard, what the heck? Out of nowhere, I see Willard, a rat movie, maybe because of the rats. Have you seen Willard or Ben? The rat movies, Ginger.
Willard was really weird. Because the guy in Willard was in At Close Range, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
At Close Range. Are you talking about the Crispin Glover?
With Christopher
Willard?
Walken and Sean Penn.
Oh, I love At Close Range.
It's a really good movie. It happened in Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
Anyway, yes, I've seen Willard.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's two Willards. There's an older one, and then there's one where it was remade with Crispin Glover. Is that
Crispin
the one you
Glover? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crispin Glover is just so fantastic. Anyways, I love Crispin Glover.
You have to see him in At Close Range. I love that movie.
Well, I that's one of my favorite movies. At Close Range is I love the film. The Legend 123 he says, hello, what is going on? We're doing a kind of a discussion of Nosferatu the Vampyre, 1979. We kind of went through most of it, I think.
We're wrapping it up now. We're wrapping it up.
Well,
wrapping it up.
There's plenty still to, Oh, you still want to talk about it, Ginger?
No, I'm my notes. I've gone through all my notes. I'm good.
It's funny. Well, if you got something in there that you want to talk about, let me know. The bat scene. There was. He also incorporated the bat where he flew and came to Lucy's room. That was actually real footage from like scientific experiments where the bat creeped up onto that. But it was just so creepy looking, and just such.
But back then, it seems like they weren't as creeped out by bats as we are today. I guess because they were so much closer to. They were out in the country. They were probably released to bats. Bats creeped me. It seemed like nobody was really creeped out by the bats. And also at the end of the movie, when she walks into that one house, she walks through this whole pile of rats and she doesn't even look at them. It's like it means nothing to her. I'm like, you're walking through like 1,000 rats right now. And
well, because I think she's still like everybody is still in this kind of different place. It's kind of all surrealistic still, even at the very ending, when Harker rides off into the you know, and whatever it is he rides off. Paul B says
Whatever it
Harker.
is.
Yeah, and the sand, man. He's running off to the desert. Paul B says Harker
Yeah,
saw the
why
future.
is there sand? I don't know. I don't know anything about Czechoslovakia or anything. I don't know. Are there deserts there? I don't know.
There's beaches and there's places where. Anyways, let me read. Paul B says Harker saw the future prophet that Count Dracula was going to make him. I believe that's why he overlooked his looks. In this movie, I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe at first he's running a business, so he's got to go to Count Dracula and get everything signed, sealed, and delivered, right? But
and that scene,
yeah. Go ahead.
That scene, we almost talked about it, else, where I said he walks into this weird old castle. You see a guy who's like ghostly white with these two little things, and he's like, "Oh, I'd love something to eat." And then you said, "Yeah," and he starts to eat, and he cuts himself when he's cutting the bread. He cuts him, and Nosferatu's like, "Oh, he has to have that blood." Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I did like that scene.
Yes, that was. See, I'm going to go. Was that a better portrayal from the book than the Francis Ford Coppola version, where he drinks the? They were both different. So, but I love that scene. That scene was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good scene. That was good.
Yeah, and and the excuse that the infection, you don't want to get the infection. But anyways, what was I saying? That I don't think it was about the money. I think it was about once he got there, and he was ignoring his looks. I think it was, again, from what we were talking about at the beginning of the movie. I think this is all kind of fantasy and Count Dracula. Right. Well, I think Count Dracula as a creature of the night in this film portrayed a dreamlike state for everybody around him. So I think the way he looked didn't matter to Harker because it didn't have any effect. He was kind of in this.
He needed to make that sale. I mean, like somebody else said, I think he needed to make that sale. That's what he came there for. He's a businessman. He needed to get that transaction done. I mean, what else could it be? Come on. That guy was creepy looking, and he's sitting there eating like there's nothing wrong. Like there's not this ghoul standing over him. Like
exactly. So there you go. A case in point, right? Oh my God, I'm there's no way I could read all of these chats when I'm trying to go through it. Anyone know of the Call of Cthulhu game, which is really more based on the shadow over Innsmouth? I believe it. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I went and read that. They're talking amongst themselves, I think, about games.
They're talking amongst themselves. It's fine.
Talk amongst yourselves. Everything's good. Hey, Michael Tompkins.
Don't get verklempt. Let them talk amongst themselves.
Don't get verklempt, It's all good. You're talking coffee. Oh, no, Tracy talks coffee, and Lisa talks coffee. We don't talk. We get verklempt.
Oh, on Tuesday. Tuesday, right?
Yes.
That's Tuesday night.
Yes. And Monday, tomorrow, geez, I don't even know what day it is. Tomorrow we got Battle of the Detectives again. So who do I got up against each other? I got Sherlock Holmes, and I do believe Nero Wolfe. I think those are the two that are going to battle. Again, I think we know who will come out on top, but the discussion. And
it's rigged, everybody. It's already rigged.
Shut up. Let's see. Fletch Kielman says, compare Dawn of the Dead to Zombie. I already read that, didn't I? Talking about Fulci. Yepper. Oh, boy. Did you guys already mention anything about Carmilla? Yeah, sounds pretty sweet. Satemkia talked about that. Stairpike is here. What's going on, Stairpike? I think part of the horror. I think part of the horror is that he does seem so normal in the beginning. The contrast is quite powerful. Um, yeah, yeah. I think it maintains a similar feel throughout the entire film. I think the most drastic change in character is Jonathan Harker, really, because he is the one that
Oh yeah.
ends up becoming a vampire himself, thus kind of changing the whole storyline of Bram Stoker, right? Because Jonathan Harker, as far as I know, never turns into a vampire at the end of the film, any of the other films, unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I must be right. So,
I don't
anyways,
know.
cheerio.
Somebody should know that. Somebody should know that.
Well, I
Somebody
do
who
know that.
knows vampire
Yeah,
movies, because I
I know that. I don't think that's ever happened before. Sounds pretty sweet. I just turned 40. Gasp. Oh boy, don't worry about it. Chris W says I'm almost 49. Why are you guys saying your ages in the chat? No need. No need. Let's see. I saw Psycho at the drive-in theater. Never forgot. It took me a long time to take a shower. A lot of people were, Linda says, a lot of people were freaked out by Psycho back in the day. That's one I can't get. I don't understand that.
it was
Psycho
so
is-
real. It was so
Yeah.
realistic. The shower scene, that was very like that could happen. It was very realistic.
I guess back in the day it could scare you because nothing like that was really on TV
Yeah.
before.
And it was very graphic. It was very graphic. And all that blood and
Yes.
stuff. I mean, it was very graphic.
Tim Cleary saying yes. Paul Harker's ambition supersedes his common sense. Again, I would go against that just a little bit. I think what superseded everything was just that he and everybody around Count Dracula was under this kind of magical spell that, you know, once they got there, it may have been about the ambition at first, but after that, once he hit that castle or got close to it, everything else was superseded by the spell and the fantasy that came with it. Right, Ginger?
Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Once it's like like any of those gothic type movies, like the castle is like a world into itself. There's no world that exists outside that castle. You can't get away from it. Once you're there, it becomes a part of you. You become a part of it, and there's no escaping it.
yeah. And that's what I like
Very
about. Well, and I'll mention that if you do like this kind of style of vampire films, I've mentioned over and over. I mean, Ginger doesn't, but I still think you would like the Subspecies series.
Okay.
It's full. They're from Full Moon. They're like early 90s series. I forget how many films there were, 4 or 5, and then there was the Vampire Journals after that. But it all maintained this gothic feel that seemed a bit in this vein. The location shoots were very similar, somewhat similar to a lot of the Hammer films also, where they would go over in Hungary and you know, those countries over there. And
Those countries over there.
yeah,
over
you know
there.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
over there. Across the ocean, you know.
Over there. It was over there.
You know, all the countries over there. Forget about it. But yeah, no, Subspecies, Radu, the character in there that played a looked nothing like Nosferatu or nothing like that, but was very, very, very good vampire makeup effects. Okay, but there was one thing he did in the movie that did disgust me. There was this Radu had this bloodstone that he needed to suck on like a sucker. It was really weird, but he would suck on it, and so much drool came out of his mouth that it kind of disgusted me. Slowly over the next films, that kind of cut back. Somebody had to say, yo, chilling on the
So just
spit.
a little over the top. It's a little over the top.
Yeah, chilling on the spit, man. But yeah, I better realize Radu. Exactly. Steerpike says I didn't make it to Transylvania, but the train passed through Bukovina, and there were a lot of old farmers getting on and off. Interesting. Sorry, I can't. Ooh, see, I'm talking too long now, and my throat's getting dry again. I was feeling way better today, but it's just a little dry. I did have water, but heck,
It's almost over, Dean. Little trooper. You can be a trooper for another 20 minutes.
I don't know if I can make it to the end. Oh my God.
You can make it.
Geez, you know what? I apologize, people. I just want to hear LOL at Dino's lighting requirements. I'm here to stare at both of you. Chris W.
Very much. And if you don't believe me, ask Tracy and Lisa on Tuesday. Ask them about Dino and his lighting requirements. They'll back me up. It's not just me.
Oh my God. I feel like Chris is attacking me. Chris, I thought you liked me. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry, Chris. Anyways, I don't mind seeing both of you. Hello from Spokane, Washington, says Linda. Oh boy, I'm so far behind.
Hi, Linda. How are the chickens? I don't see Linda.
Yo, how the chickens,
Linda
man?
from Washington with the baby chicks.
Linda, you got chickens? Are they barking? Are they barking? What's going on? Michael Tompkins, I love horror. Oh, I love horror. And you're gonna like the stream tonight. It's horror and sci-fi mixed together, and I jumbled them all up in a big bowl, and I just shook it around, and then they've spilled out. And I said, "There's number one. There's number two." And then Ginger, get this. I said,
Dino,
there's number three.
Dino, you're wigging.
Number four. My wig's coming off. Wait, what? What's going on?
I said you're wigging. You are.
I should start wigging. Wiggy, 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 wiggy. Wiggy, 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 wiggy. What is that? What I should be doing? Yeah.
No, you should not be doing that ever. Don't ever do that.
Never do that? Oh, come on.
Don't do that.
You sound like my son. Wiggy, wiggy. Anyway,
Don't do that.
Okay. Lost on the trail. Good to see you. I know you've been here a while, but I'm just getting to your chat. Boy, am I far back. CM says The Uninvited was one of the first A movies to take the supernatural seriously. Yes, CM. The Ghost, The Calling, The Uninvited. Yes, I love that. And again, the Old Time Radio Show is fantastic. Listen to it, Ginger, if you get a chance. Unless Auntie Ginger falls asleep too soon. Hey, RJS Weeda says, hi, Dino and Ginger. And Dusty Bones.
Hi.
Says Phantasm. Out of the clear blue. Just says Phantasm. Such a great movie. Such a great movie. Love it. Ginger, you got the job, kid, says John David. Oh, yeah, no. Me and Ginger will be here every Sunday night talking about horror movies. Some she might like, some she might love, some she might hate, some she might loathe.
And you as well. And you as well.
Yes, if you pick it out, if you pick a movie, which by the sounds of things, I don't think that's going to happen. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm getting wiggy with it. Oh, wait. I'll stop that. Okay, so let me see. Fletch is still going on with Dawn of the Dead, greater than Zombie in regards of plot, acting, character than Zombie. In my opinion, yes, Fletch. I agree. Dawn of the Dead is just a superior film. But again, I do love the Italian horror flicks, and Zombie is up there too. But I agree with you. Dawn of the Dead is better. Great movie reviews. You both are complimentary. Points of view. Fun to watch, this Chris W. Oh, so I got a compliment. Okay, good. Yeah.
No, We got a compliment.
Yeah, Ginger, we got a compliment today, you know what I'm saying? So let's take the good with the bad. We take the good, we take the bad, we take them all, and there we had the facts of life.
The facts of
The facts of
life.
life. When the world, da 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 da, and you feel, well, I don't even know, whatever. Let's not put facts of life into a Nosferatu movie review. Anyways, but that's what you get here on the Late Late Horror Show. You don't know which way it's going to go. Oh my God. You want to know how far back I am, Ginger? CM just said, I love Hugh, but despise the film. So, in woohoo Hugh Jackman. So that's how far back I am. Let's see. Anything interesting here?
What Justin just said. You see what Justin said?
Got to get Ginger to watch sequels. She never saw Terminator 2. Okay, Justin. Yeah, no, No.
He knows I'm not into sequels. I'm not into sequels.
Well, then I'm going to have to make a sequel for one of these movie nights. So there you go. Anyways, I'm going to pick a good sequel. Oh, what would that be? Okay, anyways. You guys are talking Phantasm again. Let's see.
Not me. I wasn't.
Cruise was sadly miscast as CM. Going back to Interview with the Vampire. Agree 100%. Antonio Banderas was a beautiful Armando. Okay, Chris W. I'll give that to you. I thought Brad Pitt was kind of good in that role. Everybody's talking about Lestat.
Too bad we were 1980. That's one of my favorite movies.
The Fog. It's not a sequel, but yeah, Trilogy of Terror with.
I'm just saying.
Not with Linda Blair.
There's a remake. There's a remake of it. I didn't like it.
Oh, well, if you're going to watch the remake of The Fog, of course you're going to get turned off the sequels. That's not good. The Fog 2 stinks. Anyways, yes, Karen Black. Thank you, CM. That is who played in Trilogy of Terror. Such a great.
Oh, yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, great made for TV.
It's
movie.
like Night Gallery and Circle of Fear. And the one with Sebastian Cabot.
Outer Limits.
Sebastian Cabot did one. It was like Twilight Zone-ish. It was like it was like Circle of Fear and Night Gallery. It was like that. I like that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And that's what the Karen Black, the Trilogy of Fear was, I think. It was like that.
Yeah. Well, the Trilogy of Terror was made for TV movie with 3 different shorts within it, and yeah. So that was
Justin asked you a question, Dino.
Speaking of
Justin
Terminator,
asked you a question.
Shoot, I guess I got to go all the way down and skip all the comments because I got to get caught up. So let's see. Justin says, speaking of Terminator, Dino, would you consider the first Terminator a horror movie in the same way Alien is? No. Honestly, I don't consider Terminator movies horror whatsoever. I consider that sci-fi 100%. Am I wrong? I mean, it's about robots. It's about, well, where's the horror side of things? There's no monster, no creature. There's robots. There's future. There's apocalypse. There's time travel. It's all science fiction. So definitely would not consider it. People may disagree with me, but I do not consider Terminator a horror film at all.
Sci-fi. It's not. I don't think it's horror. It's sci-fi.
Yeah. So definitely not. I don't know if you were testing me there or what was going on. Let's see. I used
testing you. I think he wanted to know your opinion.
Huh? Yeah. No. Science fiction, like Alien. Aliens, totally. I consider Aliens sci-fi horror because of the creature and the.
Mhm.
It's more of a creature monster, whether it's in space or not. There is a horror element. If you were to give me a 70 sci-fi and 30% horror, it's still sci-fi horror. So, in my opinion, yes, everybody agrees. Totally sci-fi. Yep. So, anyways, out of all of the vampire films,
You know,
yeah,
go back over what's coming up this week. What's tomorrow, and then what's Tuesday, and then Wednesday. You and Ted, right?
yes. Tomorrow we got, like I said, at 8 p.m. We're going to have Battle of the Old Time Radio Detectives, and that will be fun. Sherlock Holmes against Nero Wolfe. You guys will be voting in the poll, and we will put the battle up against each other. It was fun last time. Hopefully, you guys enjoy that, and we'll be doing that. Tuesday, we got Tracy and Lisa again for late night coffee talk. So
Everybody loves that so much.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun, and
It
I do
is.
my
It's
pop-ins.
very nice.
I do my pop-ins. Josh Stark says Klaus Kinski, what a mad lad. I don't know. A mad romantic goth. I don't know. You can intertwine a whole mess of things in there. But anyways, Wednesday, me and Ted will be doing right here Flash Gordon, the classic. It is Ted's fourth best movie of all time. So such a little bit about Ted. But it's a fun 80s cheesy movie. And we are going to have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, there's got to be a lot of Flash Gordon fans, right? And then Thursday, we have a Paranormal in the Night finally. Push that a couple weeks. So yes, I'm on here every single night this week. So you guys are stuck with me. And Friday is going to be movie night on Patreon and the channel members, which is always a fun time. So if you haven't joined, give it a join. Sorry about that. Had to belch. Comes out. It's only a natural reflex. You can't help it sometimes. So thank you for reminding me, Ginger. And then me and Ginger, I will post the next. Oh, do I got the next movie posted already? What is it?
Do you? I think you do. Yes, I think you do. Yes, you do.
What did I post?
Because I took a picture of it.
I've got issues. What did I post? What movie are we doing?
Are you
Can't
asking
remember?
me?
Yes.
You're asking me?
Yes, I'll go.
Tourist Trap.
Tourist
Trap.
There you go. With Chuck Connors, horror about mannequins, and it's got
a super hot Tanya Roberts. She was smoking hot.
Oh yeah, I'll be back in a couple minutes, you guys. No, I need a good. Forget, I'm shutting up. Yeah, Tanya Roberts looks very beautiful in this, and there's some very candid stills of a lovely
candid.
But Chuck Connors is in this, and that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But it's all about the mannequins in this film, and I loved this movie. I'm not sure what anybody else is going to think about it.
I had never seen it before.
I'm interested to see what you think of it. There's a newer movie that did come out that I really, really did enjoy. It's called X. It's a horror film in the vein of Wrong Turn and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's about a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. Somebody leaving? See you, CM. Yeah, we're almost done here. I'll see you hopefully at the Old Time Radio stream tonight. But it sounds worse than it is. They're trying to do an X-rated film. It takes place in the 70s, but they rent out this house in the middle of nowhere, and there's two creepy old people that that's all I'll say. It's a newer movie, and one that in the vein of Texas Chainsaw and Wrong Turn, which I love those two movies. It's kind of like that, and it's finally.
Not a fan.
Not a fan of it, huh, Connie? Ah, interesting. Okay. But I liked it. I really did enjoy it. So just throwing it out there as a recommendation. So yeah, so Ginger, me and her next week for Tourist Trap, and got a full lineup this week. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussion tonight. Any last words,
I hope so.
Ginger? Yeah.
I didn't, Dino, I didn't get called shrill this time like I did the last time.
Did somebody call you shrill? Who called
Last
you shrill?
time, not this time.
Okay. Okay. Well, shame on them. I think I have to watch this X movie. Says sounds pretty sweet. Yeah, it's I mean, it's got some gratuitous, nudity and stuff like that, but the storyline is there, and the characters are there. And are you writing it down? Okay. Prophet Wink says vampire movie with no fangs or sparkle. George Romero's Martin. That Martin from George Romero. I forget what year it was. 1970 something, early 70s. It was in the end.
Oh, thank you. Sounds pretty sweet.
Thank you. Sounds pretty sweet. Love the contrasting views, Ginger. Yeah, thank you guys. If hopefully you guys enjoy me and Ginger talking about these horror movies. But what was I talking about? Oh, Martin. At the end of the movie, you really have to think about whether he's nuts or he's a vampire. That's all I'll say. But if you haven't seen it, it's one of George Romero's, if not his first film, one of his first films he ever did. I think it's his first film. God, I might be wrong, but very, very cool. Oh, Connie Clary says mannequin, not a fan. So the mannequins kind of scare her. That's what she's saying, not the movie X, because
the movie Mannequin?
Mannequins in general look scary.
Oh, okay.
They have a
because the movie Mannequin was filmed in Philadelphia, so I love that movie.
Mannequin is one of my favorite. One of mine. It's up there with Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, 16 Candles, all of that. Mannequin is.
It was filmed here in Philadelphia.
It's a fantastic, cheesy rom-com of the 80s.
Yes.
Love it. It is fantastic. Willie Abe, what is going on? Now we're up to 68. I mean, 58. Now everybody's coming in at the end of the film. I think I do these too early, but there's nothing I can do because we have an old time radio stream that is 7 days a week here. So there you go.
Starts.
Yes. But Mannequins, have a creepy. But I love Mannequin. I love all the 80s movies with all those guys.
They can still watch it later. Make sure they understand they can still watch it later.
Yes, they can.
It's taped.
Yes, they can.
You can watch it on his channel later.
Oh, it's taped, Ginger? We taped this?
Yeah. Tape these too.
We got to. I'm not going to put my fingers up at you because I'm a gentleman. What was I saying? I have lost my train of thought. The Droon. Thanks, Dino and Ginger, for the great stream. Thank you guys very much. We're going to get going now. We will see you next week. Same time, same place.